I've been putting this video off for a long time. The reason why I haven't made this video sooner was because I thought in my heart of hearts that PvP would be fixed. It's been months, and PvP has just continued to stagnate, and it's welcomed by the community every week with a mix of open arms and revulsion. The problem with PvP is not subjective. This isn't just my opinion. Smaller communities, newer players are not going to see the problems of PvP as the veterans see them. I thoroughly enjoyed PvP, but as time went on, the cracks in the game mode began to show, and just made the game mode not fun. Let me try to condense the problems with PvP as best as I possibly can, because there are really too many problems individually, and I don't want this video to end up being 50 minutes about me ranting, and maybe we as a community can shine a light on these problems and get some kinds of solutions. Keep in mind, I'm going to be talking about PvP on a macro level, meaning where there are about 30 or so units on the battlefield. On a micro level, so anywhere between like 5 or 30, PvP is going to be a little bit more bearable, but it still suffers from the main overarching problems of the game. Let's get started, boyos. Firstly, the balancing of the classes are out of whack. There are several units that are severely overpowered, and stacking them flat out wins you fights. And then there are units that are so detrimentally bad that even having them on your side of the team will cost you the fight. Bombers and artilleries are prized while archers are completely thrown into the trash. All melee are useless. Rogues are almost always useless. The armored units dominate the meta. This has been the case for several months, and slight changes by the team as well as introductions of spells have not changed anything since the beginning of PvP. The spells have not done a single thing to change the balance, and in fact has made it worse. And then the introduction of the artillery unit further cemented the armored meta. You might be wondering, how can that be? How is it that no matter what they change, the meta in PvP has not once changed or shifted? The answer is simple. Centurions and a mix of other buffing units give armored units a complete and total 100% damage reduction. And because of this, in the larger maps, fights play out identically. The armies of tanks clash, and then the flying rogues start killing each other. Whoever wins the flying rogue fight then proceeds to kill off all the enemy healers, and then it's game over. There is no alternate strategy. You either play like that, or you lose. There is one counterplay, and that is balloon bustering the snot out of your opponent. But the cooldown on a balloon buster is 4 hours, so it's not feasible to do. So at most you get 1 win per 4 hours if you decide not to play like this. If you think you could just spam melee against an armored heavy team, you're in for a rude awakening when all the bombers and artilleries blow them up before they can even touch the enemy tanks. I have tried everything under the sun, several different combinations. There is no counter. The second problem is that every PvP is the same PvP. Once upon a time there would be new maps introduced that would come with unique game-changing mechanics and try to change the meta in some way on that specific map. Once upon a time there was a tower defense map. These days, PvP comes with recycled maps that don't do anything to affect the meta. Sometimes we get a new map in the rotation, but it does nothing to change how to play the game. Archers will still suck, armored meta still dominates the game, so we're left seeing the same fights over and over and over again. I do see what the team are doing with new map designs and everything, but when every single fight plays out the exact same, when Centurions just charge your enemy lines and are invincible to everything else, the loss feels the same. The fights feel the same. The third problem is that high-level units curb stomps low-level units way too hard. The meta strategy I mentioned utilizes level 30 units of a specific class. so level 10 and 20 units will not work. Whoever has the most level 30s usually wins the PvP fights if they are both using the exact same strategy, and they have to be competitive. The entire power system was installed to prevent this, but because of the milestone abilities combined with specializations locked at level 20, anyone who has a high amount of low level units will always have a bad time in Stream Raiders PvP. That doesn't sound like a bad thing, but when you consider a big new streamer gets introduced to Stream Raiders PvP and they get smashed into the ground with no hopes of winning, people will start quitting. The fourth problem, and admittedly the least of the four, is the problem with player agency. People in the captain's army can deliberately disobey the battle plans laid out. That's a problem. So even when two captains agree to have a fun fight without utilizing the meta and do something fun like all rogues just to watch the chaos, or everyone put down units in the shared zone instead of their own army specific zones, there will be people who disobey. I'm not saying to make all battle plans necessary, but a forced strategy mode where you must follow battle plans would be a nice option for captains doing gentlemanly duels. There are way more problems, but in the end, the four above take the cake for the problems with PvP. There are solutions, and I would love to see Captain.tv take bold attempts to fix the PvP problems listed above. I'm not talking about tweaking a couple of things to maybe address a few of them, but a bold overhaul that really flips the table and makes all the captains have to rethink strategies and units from the very beginning is something I would love to see. Even if it's a failure, it wouldn't be hard to go back and try again. I want to feel like the team is really trying, and even if that comes with missteps. I think that PvP in Stream Raiders is important, and it's supposed to be fun. I would love to start welcoming PvP with excitement again. But what do you guys think? Do you disagree? Agree? Please comment below and I will 100% comment back. I really want to start a dialogue here because I want a revival of PvP feedback so that the game mode can really be improved. Also, let me know if you want to see more videos like this where I just talk about Stream Raiders, because I could talk about this game for days and weeks without break. I'll stop rambling now. Take care, goblins.